All right, today I want to talk about some of the comments that I get for my antinatalist videos. And even though I made a dedicated video a while back while I was making those short clips about the natalist biggest mistake, I see the same mistake being repeated. And it's as if there is no response from pro natalists to antinatalism beside this response. And I'm pretty sure you're familiar with this, that hey, life is not that bad. There are good things about it, there are bad things about it. You do this, it brings you memory, it brings you meaning. You make these memories, it's great, it changes you, it's a great experience. As if I do not agree with them. Because they have this assumption that if you're an antinatalist, then you're a depressed person who thinks that life is meaningless, is full of suffering, it's a bad thing, we shouldn't be here. But that's not it. I'm not depressed. I don't think life is full of suffering. I believe in goodness. I believe in God. I'm pro life. So it's not that I think that life is something that we should stop it as soon as possible. I agree completely with everything that you say about life. But the point is that I do not see the connection between these two things. On one hand, life is an amazing experience, let's say that. It has hardships, yes, but it brings a lot of good things to you too. And on the other hand, we can impose life on someone else. I do not see the connection between these two. I believe even if this holds, we cannot impose it. And usually the example that I use is psychedelics. And psychedelics is interesting because if you take a very strong psychedelics, it basically takes you to a different realm, right? So it's very similar to going into existence, going into a different world, experiencing a different life. And even the parallel is stronger because the experiences are also similar to each other. You know, in on psychedelics, you have bad experiences, you have laughs, there are moments that you cry. There are beautiful things, there are ugly things, there are scary things, there are things that just makes you not try that thing again. But it also in general changes you, it shapes you, it makes you grow. It really brings a kind of meaning to your life. So the point is that the example that I'm trying to make is that imagine that we say the same things that we say about life, about a life in the realm of psychedelics. You take a psychedelic, you go into this world, and you experience all these things. On one hand, so we have this experience on psychedelics. On the other hand, can we impose this on someone else? Can we force people to take psychedelics? Can we put psychedelics in their food without their consent? No, right? That should be obvious. No, we cannot do that. So if someone says, why not? And if someone points out, hey, because there are pains in it, so what? There are also good things about it. There are also good things that help you grow and make life more meaningful. But you see, in the end, you say, yeah, but even then, we cannot impose it on someone else. So it doesn't matter what your experience of psychedelics is. And I'm not even saying that your experience might be different from their experience. Even if you assume that they're exactly the same, because that argument could also be made, that hey, even though you had a good trip, they might have a bad trip, and that's why we don't force it on other people. No, I'm saying that even if you had a good trip and even they are going to have a bad trip, we cannot force them into taking psychedelics. So the same thing here. Even if your life that you have will be exactly the same way that will be experienced by your child, because you had this good experience, because you had this experience of life, you cannot impose it on someone else. In the same way that if you had a good experience in psychedelics, you cannot impose it on someone else. That should be absolutely clear. But apparently it's not, right? Because I see people keep commenting this thing as if I do not agree with them, and I keep saying, hey, I agree, I agree, I agree. But this is what you are experiencing. That is your life, and good for you and good for us that you're experiencing this great thing. But so what? That doesn't mean that we can impose it on someone else without their consent. So yeah, this is the biggest mistake that's happening, and I believe it will remain the biggest mistake. It's not going to change. So But hopefully, maybe after a while, people will stop at least saying this thing. We'll move on to other objections, which I'm not sure what would be the objection, because this seems to be the main thing that they're doing. All right, cheers.